obviously there's been plenty of talk about MAGA being a cult. And this latest polling from CBS and YouGov shows that there is some strong, strong evidence, if there wasn't enough already, to back that up. So let's start with what they were polling on Trump's indictments. First one, latest Trump indictment, which concerns you more? From likely GOP primary voters, 77% said they're most concerned about whether or not the indictment is politically motivated. Only 8% say that they're concerned that Trump tried to overturn a presidential election. I got to stop there, Jessica, because they're like, the primary argument that they give is that they're trying to protect democracy, that they want to protect this institution of democracy. But only 8% of them actually give a damn that Trump tried to overturn a presidential election.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't care if Trump's crimes were politically motivated, if trying to overturn the election was something politically motivated, because it's politically motivated in the direction that they vote in and would like the country to go in. And so, yeah, they're more concerned that they're trying to sabotage Trump's chance of winning in 2024 than whether or not he committed a real crime to coup the democratically elected, fairly leader of the country. They're not as concerned about that. That is concerning because it speaks to the political mind of the typical GOP voter. They're not very interested in democracy. That's concerning in and of itself, because where does that come from? And I think it comes from Merrick Garland sitting on his hands the first few months of being in office. Because if Trump were indicted shortly after the crime was committed, it would be much harder to push this narrative that it's being done just to thwart his chances of becoming president again.
Exactly. And you know what? I think I think that we shouldn't try to get into the mind of a crazy person, is what Nina Turner always says, but lest you get stuck there. But let's take just a little bit more of a deep dive into the minds of the GOP voters through this YouGov poll, because they were asked the reason they support Trump within its whether or not they support Trump because of his legal troubles. This is what the poll says. Are you considering Trump? Sorry, let me repeat that. Show support during legal fights, a reason you're considering Trump. 73% say that it is a reason. 27% say not a reason. Now, it gets even more insane with this next one, because they were asked who they feel tell them the truth the most. Oh my God, this is so depressing. Number one, 71%, Donald Trump. He is their source of news. Whatever he says is the truth. He is the God, King, Emperor. 71% say Trump. 63% say friends and family. 56% say conservative media figures. I just want you to know that they're getting their news from Dan Bongino, and that should scare all of you. And then 42% say religious leaders, which we did a really fun story last week about one of the religious leaders who continuously was making proclamations or having, visions about the future as it pertains to Trump, and every single one was proven to not happen. So Democratic Representative Jim Hines called out the latest polling and reasoned that this is why there's violent threats against Trump's political opponents. So let's watch.
And I sort of hate to use the bombastic language, but these are people who have joined a cult. And therefore, when Donald Trump says the FBI is off of me, or when one of his proxies like Marjorie Taylor Greene says the FBI, the Democrats are doing this, which of course is demonstrably nonsense, they get pretty fired up. And it doesn't surprise me at all that, these jurors, these judges, federal judges are being threatened. This is where we have come because so many Americans decided to join the cult of Donald Trump.
Jessica, I don't think it's bombastic language at all to call it a cult. I mean, we just saw that most of them get their primary source of news is Donald Trump himself. It doesn't matter how many contradictory things he says. They'll just, whatever the next thing is, that's what they believe at any given moment.
Yeah, it's really telling that they believe Donald Trump tells the truth more than their friends and family, conservative media figures, and religious leaders. The problem is the people they're surrounded with, right? Isn't it people that are vulnerable to joining a cult, the people that are surrounded by those who don't support and love them? If you don't believe the people around you are telling you the truth and Trump tells the truth more, you're just susceptible to this kind of demagoguery because of who you're surrounded with. And I think the quote of the question they asked, are you considering Donald Trump to because he's going through these legal fights? Are you showing support for him because of the legal fights? That is ridiculous. Why should I vote for you for president? Well, listen, like, I'm just going through a really tough time right now. Please vote for me for president during these trying times. What? When has that ever been a reason to vote for someone for president? It's obviously a cult, whether it's a cult of personality, a cult of he gives me hope because my life is so abysmal that I can't trust anyone in it, but maybe he's telling me the truth. These are not reasons to vote for a president. What's his policy platform? What is he doing for the economy and the country? Nowhere near a reason for voting for him. So it's not inflammatory to say this is a cult. What else do you call that?
Right. And that question, I think it really does give you so much insight into the minds of the Republicans, because it's like, oh, well, Trump is a small bean and has bad things happen to him, so I must support. And it's literally like, I pity the man. So I'm going to vote for him. Oh, he's just going through so much, never mind the fact that the circumstances are all of his own making. But let's continue on, because they didn't just ask about Donald Trump. They asked about some other candidates as well. They asked if the responders felt like DeSantis could beat Biden. And you can see here the massive change from June to now. Definitely Wood went from 50% to 35%. And then in the long shot category, you see there was also an increase as well. So DeSantis is losing support over time. And then this next one, doesn't surprise me, but they asked about Mike Pence's actions on January 6th. When they were asked if he did the right thing, MAGA 21% said he did the right thing, 38% said not sure, but 41% said the wrong thing. Just because these people would have been happy if Mike Pence overturned the Democratic results of the election. That's what they wanted. Is it surprising? They were out there chanting, "Hang Mike Pence."
If they think Mike Pence should pick the president, we should ask them, do you think Mike Pence should pick the president for 2024? If they thought he should do it in 2020, why is Mike Pence not our single member of the Electoral College? Forget what the popular vote is. Just let Mike Pence decide. There's a clear reason why we don't have that happen. Very clearly, he did the wrong thing. But that is not a part of their political imagination. They just wanted Donald Trump to be president, regardless of the circumstances, even if it cost us, our entire Democratic project. No big deal. That's fine.
Right. But that's actually their super secret plan to protect democracy. Yes. I'll have you know.
Yes.